Okay, so when you're working on your project, make sure you're in computer view over here in document preview. Also a good idea to go to view here. This is your new menu key. When you're in computer view, this becomes your menu key. Go to view, grid, and line grid. And if you hit, so if you want to insert a function, so general rule of thumb, if you're going to do a function like a linear line or a parabola, like an up or down parabola, like an f of x parabola, you want to restrict the x values and enter those as functions. So let's make sure we do that by going insert, sorry, go to the toolbox here, which is like the menu key. Go to graph entry, and we're going to enter a function. So I'm just going to enter a generic linear function and move that around. Oh, I guess I probably need to insert an image here. So let's insert an image. I'm going to insert, I think I have a Mickey Mouse that I snipped somewhere. Here we go. So I'm going to try to kind of move this around. Maybe there's a spot here, right over there, right there for the kind of the outside part of his smile there, that I can get it parallel to that. See, and then move it. If you grab towards the middle, it changes the y-intercept. Towards the side, it's going to change the slope. Right click on something, again on the Mac, that's either a 2-finger click or control click, or command click, I mean. So you want to hide that label there. So I've got that pretty much in the right spot. It looks like to me I need to go from, this is an x value of 1 to about 2.3 to about 3.1. So I'm going to double click that. I type the vertical bar on the handheld, you hit Control equals and choose vertical bar. It's actually faster right above your Enter key. If you hit Shift, there's a slash mark key that will automatically type that vertical bar. And then you put your lower bound restriction, which is about 2.3, less than X, less than, I don't know, 3.1. I'm just going to guess here. And so you can see how that restricted that to just the kind of the part of the smile right there, just kind of like the dimple there for his smile. So if you're happy with that, you can keep it. It looks like I may need to go to 3.2. You can make little adjustments if you need to. So let's see, let's look at an f of x parabola. So y equals parabola here. So again, I'm going to go to menu, graph entry, function, and type in a generic parabola, so x squared. This is an f of x parabola. I'm going to move this so that it's like the vertex of his, right above his nose. There's kind of like a little thing there. I want to match a parabola to that, so I'm pretty happy with that. It looks like negative 0.7 to 1.2 for x values there. So double click it, vertical bar, negative 0.7 less than x less than, I think it was 1.2. I could be wrong here. Hide this, right click on it. If you're happy with that, that's how you do an f of x parabola. So let's try a circle next. So we're going to go to a circle. Circles are really easy to do. So go to graph entry and enter a relation. Put a generic circle like x squared plus y squared equals 9. So radius of 3 with the center at 0, 0. I'm going to put it kind of in the center of his ear there as best I can. And then if you kind of grab the outside of the circle and move it, you can change the kind of the radius of the circle until you're kind of happy with it. I think I'm reasonably happy with it. That looks kind of circular. Right click on there. In this case, I didn't really need to restrict the domain at all or the range, and so I'm pretty happy with that. So let's try a more advanced one. Let's try an ellipse this time. Well, let's try a parabola first. So we'll try a sideways parabola here. So let's see if I see one here. So I see one right about there. So maybe right there. So I'm going to, that's a relation. So graph entry relation. X equals y squared is a generic sideways parabola, like f of y parabola. I'm going to move the vertex. Well, let me hide this guy here. Hide the label. Right click hide. Move this over here, maybe somewhere around there. Grab it on the side, and until you're happy with, it's a little harder to get it exactly right. And I'm not happy with it up here, but I am happy with it maybe from here to about somewhere down here. So looks like about, I'm going to restrict y values, not x values. So maybe 1.5 all the way up to, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, just a little more than 4, 4.2, 1.5 to 4.2. So I'll put the vertical bar, 1.5 less than y less than 4.2. And it looks like it's pretty good. So you might be happy with that. Maybe go up a little bit further, maybe 1.4.2 is not quite enough, maybe 4.4. Maybe you can go up that high and still be happy with it. You have to put some more, probably parabolas here to make the rest of that ear, but you can piece it together with 3 or 4 parabolas and make that ear, no problem. Let's try a really tough one here. So let's try an ellipse, and we're going to restrict this ellipse quite a bit. So I'm going to try to get an ellipse that does like kind of this part of the eye there. So let's try it and see what happens. This is a little bit more difficult. So you have to have at least one ellipse in your project. So it's a relation. So type in a kind of generic ellipse, x squared over, let's say, 4, I don't know, plus y squared, whoops, y squared over 9 equals 1. And I'm going to change the color. Again, right click, color, line color, and change the color so it's not the same. I'm going to try to kind of center that if I can. I'm not sure exactly what it's going to be. Looks like it's too wide and too tall, so maybe make that 3, make this 7, I don't know. It's getting closer. It's still too wide, I think. Let's make that 2. A little too, maybe 2.4. That's not too bad. So I'm trying to kind of match that that situation there with the eye. I'm going to right click on this, hide the label. So I want to cut off this y. I want x values that are so I only want kind of this part of the y. So like the x value at this point is about 0.2. So I'm going to double click this and put a vertical bar here, x greater than 0.2, just to show you what that does. So that cuts off both sides here where all the x values are greater than 0.2, but I really now want to cut off the bottom part of this. I really don't want this piece down here. So I'm going to restrict the y values as well. So it looks like y needs to be bigger than negative 2.2 or something like that. So put your cursor right next to the x value, hit space, type the word and with the letters, keys, space, y greater than negative 2.2-ish. And see now the y value has been restricted and the x value is restricted. So I have really a portion of that ellipse, but not all of it. So that's kind of a more advanced technique there that you can do to get just a portion of that ellipse. Hyperbolas, you could do, I don't really see any hyperbolas here to do, but those are the main types of functions. You're going to use a lot of those 3 that we just did there. Enjoy.